Let's face it, history exams can feel like this huge, impossible mountain to climb. So much to remember, right? So many different kinds of questions. But here's the secret. It's not just about what you know, it's all about how you use it. There is a formula for success, a code, and in the next few minutes, we're going to crack it together. So, here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with the basic rules of the game. Then we'll decode the 6 marker, master the 8 marker, and absolutely ace that big 16 marker. And at the end, we'll put it all together into your ultimate toolkit for getting full marks. Sound good? Let's do it.
All right, first things first. Before we get into any specific questions, we need to get our heads around the one basic principle of this entire exam paper. There's one rule that kind of governs everything else.
And here it is. Seriously, if you remember one thing, make it this. This paper is specifically designed to reward you for your detailed, specific historical knowledge. Examiners want to see the goods. We're talking facts, dates, names, the whole shebang. Your revision, that is your absolute superpower here. Okay, let's get into our first challenge and see how this all builds up. We're kicking off with the 6-mark question. Now, this one isn't just a memory test. Think of it more like a detective game. It's all about analyzing a source and figuring out what the author is really trying to say. You're going to see a question that looks pretty much exactly like this. It'll give you a short piece of text and ask you something like, what impression does the author give? Your job is to put on your detective hat, read between the lines, and figure out the author's specific viewpoint or feeling about whatever they're talking about. And boom, here's the exact recipe for full marks. It's a simple formula you can use every single time. First, you just state the main impression. Then you back it up with a couple of short, punchy quotes from the text. And finally, and this part is absolutely crucial, you explain how the author's choice of words creates that impression. You do that twice in 2 nice and neat PEE, point, evidence, explain, paragraph. So, the biggest takeaway here is to make your analysis super obvious to the person marking your paper. Don't just retell the story. By using sentence starters like the use of the word terrifying suggests, you are literally signposting to the examiner that you are analyzing the author's language, and that is exactly what they are looking for. All right, let's move on to the 8 marker. Now, this one is a lot more straightforward. It's a direct test of your knowledge, really. It's asking you to connect an event to its consequences. Just think of it like historical dominoes. One thing happens, and what else falls over because of it? The question is almost always going to be phrased like this. Explain 2 effects of some specific event. It's a really clear instruction, right? They want 2 different consequences, and they want you to explain them in detail. And just so we're all on the same page, an effect is simply the result. It's the change that happened because of the event in the question. Simple as that. And this is a perfect example of how all your revision pays off big time. You can literally think of it like one of your revision flashcards. On the front, you've got the event, Rosa Parks, the boycott itself, and on the back, you've got the effects. It showed nonviolent protest could work, it kick-started desegregation in other places, and it turned Martin Luther King Jr. into a household name. Your 2 points are right there, just waiting for you to explain them. So, here's the structure for those 8 marks. It's just 2 perfect PEE paragraphs. Starts by clearly stating effects number 1. Then, back it up with all those juicy historical details you know. Then, explain the link. After that, you just do the exact same thing for a second, totally different effect. It's simple, it's structured, and it really, really works. Okay, deep breath. It's time for the main event, the 16 marker. This is where you really get to show off everything you've learned. It's the ultimate test of not just your knowledge, but your ability to build a really convincing, balanced argument. This is where the top grades are truly won. The key phrase you've got to lock onto here is, how far do you agree? Now, this is a command. It's not asking if you agree. It's asking for a careful judgment. And what does that mean? It means you have to argue both for and against the statement they give you. Yeah, to get into the top marks, you have to build a balanced case. The question will give you a couple of bullet points to get you started. So you talk about the Supreme Court's role, maybe mentioning Brown versus Board of Education. But then you absolutely must argue the other side, bringing in other massive factors like the power of the Montgomery bus boycott or the incredible emotional impact of Emmett Till's murder. But, and this is a big but, just using the points they give you is only going to get you so far. To really push your answer into that top mark band, there's one more thing you have to do. And this right here is the secret sauce. This unlocks the highest marks. The exam board says it themselves. You must bring in your own specific knowledge. This is where your detailed revision on things like the Little Rock Nine or the Civil Rights Act of '57 is going to make all the difference. It's what separates a pretty good answer from an absolutely brilliant one. So here it is, your blueprint for a perfect 16-mark essay. You start with a short introduction that gives your overall judgment, then you have at least one paragraph arguing for the statement, and at least one paragraph arguing against it, bringing in all those other factors. And you finish it all off with a strong conclusion that weighs up all the evidence and gives a final, justified answer to that how far question.
All right, let's bring this all home. Let's put everything we've talked about into one simple toolkit that you can just carry in your head right into the exam hall.
Look at this. This single slide is basically your entire strategy. It's your toolkit for success. For 6 marks, you're analyzing language. For 8 marks, you're explaining 2 clear effects with lots of detail. And for that big 16 marker, you're building a balanced argument packed with your own awesome knowledge. That's the formula. So there you have it. The code has been well and truly cracked. You've got the structure, you've got the techniques, and you've got the strategy to walk into that exam feeling totally confident. So the only question left is, are you ready to go make some history?